received a request to make a render video. So I'm going to show you how to access SimRipper, the settings I use to import my Sims, how to get the Sims into Blender, how to import poses into Blender, and of course how to make a render after doing all of those steps. So this is SimRipper. You download it and look for the latest version of it before you use it, otherwise you may encounter some issues like the Sim's head being missing or the Sim's feet being missing. When you go to select, you see all of your save files. Then you click one and it'll take a moment to load. Here you can sort your Sims through their household name, first name, or last name. I prefer to do it in the first names because it's just in alphabetical order. And then we find a Sim that we want to export. So when your Sim loads in SimRipper, it looks like this. You can zoom in on her, move it down, move it up, rotate her. But these are the settings that I use for it. First, where it says single mesh and texture, you click down and you go to solid and glass meshes and textures. Phone size stays at 2, link textures. Texture size, you can go to standard or you can go to HQ. I've always done HQ. Now here, where it says outfit, this is all the outfits that you already have for her in game. You just pick one and she will appear in it. In this case, I want her in everyday outfit 4, so that's what she's in right now. Her skin is normal, but I noticed that when you import Sims into Blender, their skin complexion is a little paler than what it should be. A lot of people keep it like this, and I think it works fine if your Sims are more on the pale side, but because some of my characters are brown skin or dark skin, I just click on original. That then loads up. And see, now she's browner. After that, I go to DAE, click it, then I save her in a folder where I know I can find her. I usually title them something like Blender Rigs, maybe type in their name, and that's it. So after that, you return to Blender. You're going to be around this cube right here. You can delete that by right-clicking, delete. You go to File, you go to Import, go to DAE, locate where you put your Sim at, and in my case, here she is. So, currently we are in the viewport shading, but we can do the viewport shading like this, or we can do it where it's fully shaded. But right now, because we want to see, we're going to keep it like this. So I'm going to go in a little bit more, raise her up. Next, we drag our cursor right to the corner here. And gently, we're going to pull to make a second screen. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can focus on her. And then we can see her right here. But we're going to change the way it looks on the side in just a moment. So we click this. We go to Shader Editor. We open up Rig, which you can rename to be your Sim's name, like I just did. We click on the first one where it says just her name, not where it says glass, and then we see this. So, everyone does this differently. This is just how I do it. We hit Shift A. We're going to go down to Shader, and we're going to go to Mix Shader. We're going to put the Mix Shader right here between Principled, BSDF, and Material Output. Now, something that some people do is they slide down the specular. It makes things a little bit darker, less shiny. Personally, I like that. But again, it's all going to depend on what you like. Next, we are going to connect the specular, where it says color right here in the yellow. We're going to connect that right there. So that's done. Now, we are going to hit Shift A again. And we are going to go to Transparent BSDF. We drop that right here. So, where it says BSDF, we are going to, I believe, drop it down here to the bottom shader. Drop Principled BSDF right here to the shader. And then we're going to go to Alpha and connect it to the FAC. Now, as you can see, her skin's lightened up a little bit more. So now what we are going to do, and again, this is optional. Some of you may like it to be a little bit more brighter like this, but I prefer to try to keep the skin looking the way it would in game. So we're going to go to color space right here where it says sRGB. And we're going to go to Filmic sRGB. And again, she's more brown. So that part's done. Next, we're going to focus on the glass. And it's the same procedure. You can lower the specular if you want. Connect the specular from here to here. We hit Shift A. Mix shader. Drop it between Principled BSDF and Material Output. Move the BSDF here down to the shader. Hit Shift A. Go to Transparent BSDF. Drop it here. And then we move the alpha to the FAC again. Now, what we do next is we go to this little material. And right here where it says settings and you see where it says opaque, even shadow mode for opaque, we're going to change that. Instead, we're going to click alpha hashed. And now, her eyelashes are transparent. I don't think the shadow mode really does anything, but if you want to click it like that, feel free to. So what we're going to do next is we can go back to 3D viewport. And we're going to zoom in on her face. There's going to be these little lines right here. Just click one of them, any one of them, it doesn't matter. And then we hit the I key. We're going to open up location and rotation. Alright. Now we're going to open up linear animation. This is where we're going to either enter an animation or a pose. But first, what we do is we click over here and go to delete strips. Now it's empty and we can add an animation or a pose. So in order to import a pose into Blender, what we do is go to Sims 4 Studio. We go to a package file that's a pose. We click open. It should load up like this. Sometimes it may be in the warehouse tag, but we just click over to Studio. And it'll usually pop up in the pose pack area where we can see it like this. But what we want to do is we want to go to the clips area. After that, we just find the clip that we want. Let's say I want number 4. Then we go to export. We're going to save it. Ideally in a folder where we know we can go back to it. And then we watch it export. Afterwards, we return to Blender. And we go to File. We go to Append. We navigate to our folder where we put the pose at. We click the name. Then it'll take us to another folder. what we're going to do is we're going to click Action. We're going to click what's inside that folder. It should say something at the end like set 7, set 8, set 1, whatever. And then we click Append. Now, what we do is we go to Add Action Strip, Append. And she's posed. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it as an animation, which is the same steps. Now, for an animation, it's going to look the exact same way it did when we got a pose, because really, it's the same thing as a pose. One just happens to move. So, in this case, we only have one clip, but we're still going to export it. Save it. Let it export. Now it should be ready for Blender. So back in Blender, if you want to see how the animation looks instead of the pose, what we're going to do is delete strips and also delete animation over here. Let's clear it. Let's go to her name. Let's zoom in. Hit one of these little marks. Hit A. Open it. Delete strips. Now let's append a new file, which is going to be the animation. We go to Action. We click it where it says set 1. Then we add action strip, set 1. So, let's zoom out a little bit. And then we're going to hit play. And that's how the animation will look in here. Now it looks a little silly, but the rendered product usually looks much better anyway. So let's just hit Ctrl Z and return back to our little static animation. No, our static pose right here. So what we're going to do is go back to 3D viewport where we can see her, and we're going to make a render for real. Now there's two ways we can do this. Way one is to have a background like this in the void, and it will be gray. That's not very interesting. Way two is we can include a mesh, which can be a cube, a plane, a circle. Usually we all do cubes, because a cube can become a room, it can just be a backdrop, it can be anything. So for this, I'm not going to teach you how to do a little mini room for that, because really that's a lot of work and it's time consuming. So, we put her in the cube. We can see her in the cube. We're going to hit Tab. The cube is highlighted. And we are going to click in select mode, face select. Then we click, right click, delete. We can leave it like this, or we can delete the sides. I'm going to just delete the sides and expand this top part and the bottom part. So hit Tab to go out of this mode. Click it. Go to Scale. And then we just drag it out. Now we're going to want to raise it so she's touching the ground. Now let's go to viewport shading and see how it looks with shading on. It's much darker, so we need some lighting. And let's move her out a little bit. And also change it to viewport shading over here. So what we are going to do is we're going to grab this light right here. Now when it comes to lighting, that's once again a total preference. It took me some time to figure out what I really liked for lighting, figuring out what worked and didn't work. So I just find what creates the best lighting for me is to just grab it, pull it somewhat in front of the sim. Now, as you can see, it's still dark. We're not seeing any change. So what we do is we can change how it is. We can make it a point, a sun, which works well if you're doing like a Blender scene. We can change it to a spot, or we can change it to an area lighting. For now, let's just work with the point, because I know that's a good example. We're going to enhance the power. It was on 2%, so let's kick it up. You see now it's becoming lighter and lighter. And I think this is good, but it could probably be better. So let's zoom in on her over here. Let's lower it, see how it looks. See how when we bring it in, like, there's a lot of sun. Let's say we want it to be right there. And maybe just move it a little lower. Because now we can see the dimension of shadows and whatnot. Now what we want to do is get the camera right. So we can either click the camera right here on the side and then it'll light up, or we can just click it right there. Now the camera starts off a bit away, so what we want to do is we want to bring it closer. And it may be a little tricky at first when you first start using Blender. That's okay. So then we rotate the camera. Bring it up. Rotate it. So what we want to do, because this is not how it's going to look on camera, what we're going to do is we're going to go into camera mode. And we can just do that by clicking toggle camera view right here. As you can see, it's not on her, it's like on half of the backdrop and then it's only on her side. So, because we want like a face close-up, we're going to move it right here. Move it down some. Rotate some more. Gonna move it again. Rotate it over here so we can see how far we are. Bring it in. Get in some more. And let's say we want it to be like that. Now some things we can do is that we can go to output and we can change the image resolution right here. So let's say I want it to be 180 by 180. It's like that. I prefer it like this. But it's all going to depend on the sort of image you want, how wide it should be. It's really up to you. And of course what's important to do is to play around with it. So I want to scoot the camera down a little bit more. Got that. And now we go to render. So there's two different ways you can render a sim. You can do it by Eevee, which is very quick, or you can do it by cycles. which adds more shadows, more depth and dimension. It looks very nice, but it may take up to anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes or longer. It's all going to depend on the sort of render that you're doing. Let's just stick with Eevee for right now, because Eevee does look good. We can up the render samples. And it's all going to depend on what your computer can or can't handle. And let's up the viewport samples. And then after that, we go to render up here and render image, and then you wait for it to be done. It should be done within like a matter of seconds. And this is the end result right here. After that, you save your image by going to image, you click save as. For color depth, you may want it to be 16. Compression should be at 100 if you want the fullest quality. Save it as a PNG, and then you just hit save as image after you put in the name, and that's it. Now let's say you did want to render an animation. Just like that little quick animation that we saw before. So let's ease into her again. Clear animation data. But don't forget we have to go to nonlinear animation. Hit I, rotation and location. Delete strips. And now we're going to append an animation. We're going to add action strip. Now, we're going to start this frame right here. We're going to go to 3D viewport so we can get a good look of how it's going to look on the camera. And we're going to hit play. We'll say that this is a photo shoot outtake and she's very disgusted. What we can do is rewind. And let's say we want to end at 148. So we just type that in right here. So let's rotate the camera a little bit. Bring it over. It still looks a little crooked. So let's move it again a little bit. Let's hit play again. I think this is fine. So what we're going to do is put it back to 0. Go to render. We can kick down the render frames a little bit in the viewport. And when it comes to rendering animations, I would really just suggest you do it with Eevee, because Cycles just takes a long time. So let's kick it down to 87, 131. And we hit render animation. After that, the timeline's going to start moving. And it's moving at a pretty good pace. After that, we make sure that everything's saved. And if it does not save to your computer, then you need to check what your output is. So for output, you sometimes do have to change it, like file format here, PNG, change it to the video. Keep that. Then we pick what area it's going to go into for files. Let's say we want it in the picture file. Let's make a little folder for it. That should pop up. and then you just hit render animation again, and then you're actually done for real. So I'm always willing to make more tutorial videos of any type as long as it's in my range of ability, because I am still a beginner at this. But I hope you enjoyed watching. Please hit like if it benefited you in any way.